Jake Miller hated the night shift. The cold metal corridors of Nexus 7 station felt like a maze of loneliness after midnight. Most aliens avoided the waste processing sector entirely. The smell alone could knock out a Vrelian from 50 feet away. But Jake didn't mind. It was quiet, peaceful, and nobody bothered him while he worked. Tonight felt different though. The temperature gauges were reading wrong. Section D7 was way colder than usual. Jake pulled his jacket tighter and kept moving. His breath came out in small white clouds. Something was definitely broken. He made a mental note to file a maintenance report that nobody would read. That's when he heard it. A soft humming sound. Like electricity running through damaged wiring. Jake followed the noise to Compactor 12. The sound grew louder. He punched in his override code and opened the emergency hatch. The smell hit him first. Rotting food. Chemical waste. The usual garbage cocktail. But there, wedged between two crushed cargo containers, something glowed. Pale blue light pulsed in the darkness. Jake leaned closer. His eyes went wide. It was an egg. Not a chicken egg or anything normal. This thing was the size of a basketball. Its shell looked like frosted glass with veins of light running through it. The pulsing was getting weaker. Whatever was inside was dying. Jake knew the rules. Anything found in the waste belonged to the station. He should call it in. Let the science team handle it. But those guys would just stick it in a lab somewhere. Or worse, sell it to the highest bidder. The black market on Nexus 7 was brutal. He looked around. The security cameras in this section had been broken for weeks. Nobody was watching. Jake reached in and carefully lifted the egg. It was ice cold. Too cold. He unzipped his jacket and tucked it against his chest. The egg felt heavy. Solid. He zipped his jacket back up and walked out like nothing happened. Getting back to his quarters took forever. Every corner felt like a trap. Every shadow looked like station security. Jake's heart hammered in his chest. He kept his head down and walked with purpose. Just another janitor finishing his shift. Nothing suspicious here. His room was tiny. A bed, a desk, a small bathroom. Home sweet home. Jake set the egg on his bed and cranked up the heater. The room got stuffy fast, but the egg needed warmth. He wrapped it in his spare blanket and watched the light pulse. Stronger now. Whatever was inside wasn't giving up. Jake sat on the floor and waited. Hours passed. He should have been sleeping. His next shift started in 6 hours. But he couldn't look away. The pulsing changed rhythm. Faster now. More urgent. Cracks appeared on the shell. Thin lines of light spreading like spider webs. Then it happened. The egg split open. A tiny head poked out. Jake stopped breathing. It was a dragon. An actual dragon. No bigger than a house cat. Silver scales caught the light. Two small horns curved back from its head. Wings folded tight against its body. The creature's eyes opened. They were bright gold. Ancient. Intelligent. The dragon looked at Jake. Really looked at him. Then it made a sound. A tiny chirp. Like a bird. But sad. So incredibly sad. The little thing was shaking. Jake reached out slowly. The dragon didn't pull away. He scooped it up in both hands. It weighed almost nothing. He could feel its ribs. This baby was starving. Jake grabbed his emergency ration pack. NutriPaste. Tasted like cardboard but had everything a body needed. He squeezed a little bit onto his finger. The dragon sniffed it. Then ate. Carefully at first. Then desperately. Jake kept feeding it until the pack was empty. The shaking stopped. The dragon curled up in his palms and closed its eyes. Something touched Jake's mind. Not words exactly. More like feelings. Images. He saw other dragons. Huge ones. Flying through space without ships. Living on a planet of crystal mountains. Then darkness. Cages. Pain. Being ripped from family. Being judged. Too small. Defective. Worthless. Thrown away like trash. Jake felt tears on his face. This little creature had been abandoned. Left to freeze to death in a garbage compactor. What kind of monsters would do that? He looked down at the sleeping dragon in his hands. So tiny. So helpless. So trusting. You need a name, Jake whispered. The dragon's scales shimmered in the light. Like embers from a dying fire. Ember. I'll call you Ember. The dragon's eyes opened briefly. Those golden eyes found his. Then closed again. Safe. Warm. Protected. Jake knew this changed everything. Keeping an alien life form was illegal. Especially one this rare. This valuable. He should turn Ember in. Do the right thing. The legal thing. But when he looked at that peaceful little face, he knew he couldn't. He wouldn't. Some rules were meant to be broken. He made a bed for Ember in his desk drawer. Lined it with his softest shirts. She didn't wake up. Just breathed slowly. Deeply. Healing. Jake finally crawled into his own bed. Tomorrow would bring problems. Big ones. But tonight, he'd saved a life. That had to count for something. 3 days. That's how long Jake managed to keep Ember a secret. 3 peaceful days of sneaking food, watching her grow stronger, and pretending everything was normal. But secrets on a space station never lasted long. Someone always talked. Someone always noticed. Jake was heading to his quarters after a double shift when he heard footsteps behind him. Multiple sets. Heavy boots on metal floors. He picked up his pace. The footsteps matched him. His stomach dropped. They were following him. He turned a corner into the lower decks. Bad move. This section was under construction. No cameras. No witnesses. The footsteps got closer. Jake started running. His lungs burned. His legs felt like rubber. Behind him, voices shouted. They weren't even trying to be quiet anymore. A dead end. Jake spun around. 5 figures blocked his escape. Smugglers from the look of them. Mixed species. A Krellian with 4 arms. 2 humans who looked meaner than starved wolves. Something reptilian he didn't recognize. And their leader. A scarred woman with cybernetic eyes that glowed red in the dim light. End of the line, Janitor, she said. Her voice was cold. Professional. We know what you've got. Hand over the hatchling and we'll let you walk away. Jake's hand moved to his pocket where Ember was sleeping. She'd gotten small enough to fit there. Some kind of dragon magic he didn't understand. I don't know what you're talking about. The woman laughed. No humor in it. Don't play stupid. That little dragon is worth more than you'll earn in 10 lifetimes. We've got buyers lined up. Collectors. Scientists. People who pay real money for extinct species. She stepped closer. Last chance. Give her up or we take her from your corpse. Not happening, Jake said. His voice shook but he stood his ground. The Krellian moved first. All 4 arms reaching for Jake. Time seemed to slow down. Jake felt warmth in his pocket. Then light. Brilliant silver light that made everyone shield their eyes. Ember burst out, no longer tiny. She'd grown to the size of a large dog in an instant. Her scales blazed like molten metal. She opened her mouth and roared. The sound was impossible. Too big for her body. It shook the walls. Shook Jake's bones. Then came the fire. Not normal fire. This was different. Silver flames mixed with starlight. Cosmic fire that didn't burn but pushed. The smugglers flew backward like toys. They hit the walls hard and didn't get up. But the fire kept going. It burst through the hull. Through the station walls. Into space itself. The energy rippled outward like waves on water. Expanding. Growing. Spreading across the void in every direction. Ember collapsed. Shrunk back down. Jake caught her before she hit the ground. She was breathing hard. Exhausted. He held her close and ran. Alarms were blaring now. Emergency lights flashing. He needed to get somewhere safe. Somewhere to think. He made it to an observation deck. Empty. Quiet. Jake looked out at the stars and tried to catch his breath. Ember stirred in his arms. Those golden eyes opened. She looked scared. It's okay, Jake whispered. You saved us. You're okay. Then he saw them. Lights in the distance. Moving fast. Too fast to be ships. They were coming straight for the station. Dozens of them. No. Hundreds. Jake's mouth went dry. What had Ember done? What had she called? The first one arrived within minutes. It materialized outside the observation window. A dragon. A real, full-sized, ancient dragon. Its body stretched longer than a cargo freighter. Scales like polished obsidian. Wings that seemed to fold through dimensions. Eyes older than stars. It looked at Jake through the window. Looked at Ember. Then it bowed its massive head. More came. They filled the space around Nexus 7. Dragons of every color. Every size. Some were crystalline. Others looked like living shadow. Some blazed within a light. All of them ancient. All of them powerful. The station shook as they landed on every available surface. Docking bays. Hull sections. Observation platforms. Station security didn't know what to do. Weapons were useless. These beings had crossed space without ships. Without air. They were beyond anything humans understood. The entire station went into lockdown. People were panicking. Aliens were fleeing. Everyone thought this was an invasion. Jake stood frozen. Ember pressed against his chest. A dragon landed on the observation deck with him. The floor buckled under its weight. This one was massive. Ancient beyond measure. Its scales were deep purple mixed with gold. Scars covered its body. Battle scars. This creature had lived through wars. Through ages. Through the rise and fall of civilizations. I am Vorthrax, the dragon's voice filled Jake's head. Not sound. Pure thought. Eldest of the scattered clans. Guardian of the lost ways. The massive head lowered until it was level with Jake. One eye, bigger than Jake's entire body, studied him. You hold our princess. The last daughter of the royal clutch. We felt her call across the void. Jake couldn't speak. Couldn't move. This was insane. This was impossible. He was a janitor. Just a guy who cleaned floors. How was he having a telepathic conversation with a space dragon? I found her, Jake finally managed. In the trash. She was dying. I just wanted to help. Vorthrax's eyes swelled with colors Jake didn't have names for. The dragon studied him for what felt like hours. Then something incredible happened. Vorthrax lowered his head to the ground. A full bow. The kind of bow you'd give royalty. Give a god. Behind him, every dragon followed. Hundreds of ancient, powerful beings bowing to a human janitor holding a tiny dragon. The gesture rippled through space itself. Jake felt it in his bones. In his soul. Something fundamental had just changed. Something he didn't understand but couldn't take back. By ancient law, Vorthrax's voice echoed in his mind. By bond and blood and deed, we name you Drakenjar. Dragon Emperor. Our chosen. Our voice. Our will made flesh. Jake looked down at Ember. She was purring. Actually purring. Completely comfortable in his arms like this was all perfectly normal. He looked back at the hundreds of dragons. All still bowing. All waiting. The weight of their attention was crushing. His legs shook. His vision blurred. I'm just a janitor, Jake whispered. No, Vorthrax raised his head. Those ancient eyes gleamed. You are the one who saved our lost princess when the universe threw her away. You are the one she chose. And now, you are ours. Jake stood in the station's main conference hall, surrounded by dragons. The room wasn't built for this. Wasn't built for creatures that could level cities with a breath. But here they were, filling every space, their massive forms somehow fitting into an area that should have been impossibly small. Dragon magic, Jake was learning, didn't care about physics. Vorthrax settled in the center, his presence dominating everything. Station officials huddled in the corner. The human ambassador to Nexus 7 looked like he might pass out. Alien dignitaries from a dozen species whispered frantically into communication devices. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What did the dragons want? Let me explain this clearly, Vorthrax's voice filled everyone's minds. Dragons apparently didn't believe in private conversations. The hatchling you know as Ember is Emberlight Starborn, last daughter of Queen Celestria. The royal line was thought extinct. We have searched for survivors for 300 years. Jake shifted uncomfortably. Ember was still in his jacket, peeking out at the crowd. She seemed fascinated by all the attention. Look, I didn't know she was royalty. I just found her in the trash. She was dying. What was I supposed to do? Leave her there? Precisely, Vorthrax said. A rumble went through the assembled dragons. Agreement. Approval. You saw something weak. Something abandoned. Something the universe had discarded. And you risked everything to save it. You expected no reward. No recognition. You simply acted because it was right. That's just basic decency, Jake muttered. Anyone would have done the same. A smaller dragon, her scales the color of deep ocean water, spoke up. Her voice was gentler than Vorthrax's but just as powerful. No, human. They would not. We have tested your species. Your station. For 3 days we watched through Ember's eyes. 4 to 7 people walked past that waste compactor. 4 to 7 individuals heard her dying cries. Not one stopped. Not one looked. Only you. Jake felt sick. 4 to 7 people. He thought about all the times he'd walked past problems that weren't his business. How many times had he ignored someone else's pain? I'm not special, he said quietly. That is exactly why you are. Vorthrax moved closer. His massive head lowered until he was eye level with Jake. Our kind bonds once in a lifetime. We choose. And once chosen, that bond is sacred. Absolute. The one chosen becomes part of our soul. Emberlight chose you. Not because you are powerful. Not because you are wealthy. Because you are good. Jake looked at Ember. She chirped and nuzzled his hand. Her scales were warm. Comforting. He'd gotten attached to her over the past few days. Really attached. The thought of losing her made his chest hurt. But what does that mean? Jake asked. This bond thing? An ancient red dragon, scales like cooling lava, spoke from the back. It means you are sacred. Untouchable. To harm you is to harm all dragons. Your enemies become our enemies. Your cause becomes our cause. And because Emberlight is royal blood, Vorthrax continued, you become royal as well. Drakenjar. Dragon Emperor. Ruler of our scattered clans. Voice of our people. Commander of our strength. The room exploded. The human ambassador started shouting. Alien delegates argued in 12 different languages. Station security looked ready to bolt. Jake just stood there, numb. This couldn't be happening. This was insane. No, Jake said. His voice got lost in the chaos. No. Louder this time. Everyone stopped. I can't be your emperor. I clean toilets. I barely graduated high school. I don't know anything about leading anyone, let alone an entire species of space dragons. You saved a life others threw away, Vorthrax said simply. That is all the qualification we require. That's crazy. Jake was shouting now. Ember squeaked in protest and he lowered his voice. I'm nobody. I'm not special. I'm just a guy who got lucky. You can't make me an emperor because I did one decent thing. It was not luck, the ocean-colored dragon said. It was character. We do not choose our leaders by birth or wealth or power. We choose them by their hearts. By their actions when no one is watching. By what they do when there is nothing to gain. Jake felt cornered. Trapped. His whole life was on this station. His small room. His simple job. His quiet existence. Now these dragons wanted to turn him into something he wasn't. Something he could never be. I refuse, Jake said firmly. Find someone else. Someone qualified. Someone who actually wants this. Vorthrax's eyes swirled with something that might have been amusement. The law is not negotiable, human. Emberlight chose you. The bond is formed. It cannot be broken. Not by you. Not by us. Not by death itself. Then I'll just ignore it, Jake said stubbornly. I'll go back to work. Pretend this never happened. You can all fly away and forget about me. Would you abandon Emberlight? Vorthrax asked quietly. Jake's hand instinctively moved to protect Ember. No. Never. Then you cannot ignore this. Where you go, she goes. And where she goes, we follow. We have no choice. Our nature binds us. Jake slumped against the wall. This was really happening. There was no way out. He looked around at all the dragons. All these ancient, powerful beings waiting for his answer. Waiting for his acceptance. What if I mess up? Jake asked. His voice cracked. What if I make the wrong choice? Get people killed? Start a war? I don't know how to be an emperor. Then you will learn, Vorthrax said. As all leaders must. But know this, Jake Miller. You have already proven yourself worthy. You risked your freedom for a stranger. Your safety for someone weak. Your future for someone with no future. That is the heart of a true leader. Jake looked at Ember again. She was watching him with those impossibly ancient eyes. Trusting him. Depending on him. Just like she had that first night. He'd made a choice then. To help. To protect. To save a life that no one else cared about. Maybe that was what being a leader meant. Making the hard choice because it was right, not because it was easy. Fine, Jake said finally. The word felt heavy. Final. But I do this my way. No throne. No crown. No palace. I keep my job. Keep my life. And if I'm your emperor, then you listen when I tell you what needs to change. Vorthrax's massive head dipped. A bow of acknowledgement. As you command, Drakenjar. The other dragons echoed the gesture. Hundreds of ancient beings bowing to a janitor in a stained uniform. Jake wondered what he'd just agreed to. Wondered if he'd regret this. Ember purred against his chest. Warm and safe and alive. No. He wouldn't regret it. Not ever. The news spread across the galaxy in hours. A human janitor had become Dragon Emperor. At first, people thought it was a joke. Some weird propaganda. A hoax cooked up by the entertainment networks. But then the footage started circulating. Real footage. Verified by 1,000 different sources. Dragons bowing to a guy in a maintenance uniform. Ancient beings pledging loyalty to someone who smelled like industrial cleaner. The Krillian Empire issued a statement within 24 hours. Jake watched it on his datapad during his lunch break. A Krillian admiral, all 6 arms crossed, glared at the camera. This changes nothing. Human space is far from dragon territory. We will continue our operations as planned. Operations. That's what they called it. Jake had read the reports. The Krillians ran the largest labor acquisition network in 3 sectors. Labor acquisition. Slavery. They just used prettier words. And now they were nervous. Nervous that dragons might start caring about what happened to the species they enslaved. Good. Let them be nervous. The merchant guilds were worse. They released a joint declaration calling Jake's position illegitimate and economically destabilizing. Translation? They were scared. Scared that dragons would mess up their carefully controlled markets. Their monopolies. Their price fixing. Jake had seen how they operated. Essential medicines marked up 10,000%. Food shipments delayed until stations paid storage fees. People died so the guilds could pad their profit margins. The assassination attempt started on day 5. Jake was restocking cleaning supplies in Sector 9 when the first one came. A Vexin mercenary with active camouflage. Nearly invisible. The guy got within 10 feet before a young dragon named Skyfire appeared out of nowhere. The mercenary never even got his weapon drawn. Skyfire just looked at him. One look. The guy dropped his gun and ran. Thanks, Jake said, loading bottles of disinfectant onto his cart. Skyfire, whose scales shimmered between blue and silver, looked embarrassed. It is my honor to protect you, Drake and Jar. Just Jake is fine, he said for the 100th time. And hey, since you're here, mind helping me with these supply crates? They're heavy. The dragon stared at him. You want me to carry cleaning supplies? Unless you're too busy, Jake said. He wasn't trying to be difficult. He just needed help. And having a bodyguard follow him around all day felt weird. Might as well make it useful. Skyfire picked up a crate that would have taken Jake 20 minutes to move. The dragon carried it like it weighed nothing. Where do you need this? Storage room C down the hall. They worked in silence for a while. Other dragons started showing up. They rotated guard duty, always keeping at least 3 around Jake at all times. Jake put them all to work. Carrying supplies. Moving equipment. Helping with the heavy stuff. At first they seemed confused. Then insulted. Then something shifted. A dragon named Thornscale, ancient and scarred, was helping Jake clean the cafeteria after dinner rush. I have fought in wars that lasted centuries, Thornscale said, scrubbing a table. I have seen stars born and die. And now I clean food trays. Yeah, Jake said. It's honest work though. Someone's got to do it. That's what I don't understand, Thornscale said. You command us. You could have servants. Luxury. Power. Why do you still do this? Jake thought about it while he mopped. Because this is real. This matters. People eat at these tables. Use these facilities. If I stop caring about the small stuff, the everyday stuff, how can I make big decisions? How can I lead if I forget what normal life looks like? Thornscale was quiet for a long time. Then, you are wiser than you know, young Emperor. The second assassination attempt was more serious. A bomb in Jake's quarters. Military grade. It would have vaporized him in half the deck. Ember sensed it before Jake even opened the door. 3 dragons disarmed it in seconds. Station security traced it back to a shell company funded by the merchant guilds. Jake made a public statement that night. Short. Simple. I'm not going anywhere. Keep trying if you want. But know this. Every attempt on my life proves I'm doing something right. Proves someone's scared of change. And that just makes me more determined. The attempts kept coming. Poison in his food. Snipers. Even a viral weapon designed to target human DNA. The dragons stopped them all. But Jake refused to hide. Refused to change his routine. He kept working. Kept cleaning. Kept being visible. That's when Earth's government showed up. Admiral Patricia Collins arrived with a full diplomatic envoy. Military escort. The works. She cornered Jake in the observation deck during his break. Mr. Miller, we need to discuss your position. I'm on break, Jake said, eating a sandwich. Can this wait? No, it cannot. Collins sat down uninvited. You represent a significant strategic asset. Your connection to the dragons gives humanity an unprecedented advantage. We need to coordinate. Establish protocols. Ensure you're representing Earth's interests properly. Jake took another bite. Chewed slowly. I don't represent Earth. I represent dragons. Collins's face went red. You're human. You have responsibilities to your own species. I have responsibilities to everyone, Jake said. That's the point. Dragons aren't weapons you can aim at your enemies. They're people. Ancient, powerful people who've chosen to trust me. I won't abuse that trust. This isn't a request, Collins said. Her voice went cold. Professional. Earth cannot allow a civilian, especially one with your limited education and experience, to control such power without oversight. Jake stood up. Ember, sleeping in his pocket, woke up and peeked out. You're right. I'm not educated. I'm not experienced. I'm just a janitor. But that's exactly why this works. I don't have an agenda. Don't have political ambitions. I'm not trying to use dragons to conquer anyone or get rich or make Earth the dominant power. Then what are you trying to do? Collins demanded. Help people, Jake said simply. The ones everyone ignores. The ones thrown away like trash. That's what Ember taught me. That's what being Drakenjar means. Collins left angry. She'd be back with threats. Demands. Maybe even attempts to remove him. Jake knew how governments worked. They didn't like things they couldn't control. But Jake had made his choice. He answered to the dragons first. That didn't mean he'd betray humanity. It meant he wouldn't let anyone, human or alien, use him as a weapon. Wouldn't let power corrupt what he'd accidentally become. That night, Jake was cleaning the bathroom in Sector 12. Skyfire and two other dragons stood guard outside. A news crew tried to get an interview. They wanted shots of the Dragon Emperor scrubbing toilets. Make it a story. A spectacle. Jake ignored them and kept working. The toilet was clogged. Someone had flushed something they shouldn't have. It was gross. Disgusting. Exactly the kind of job everyone avoided. He fixed it anyway. Because someone had to. Because this was who he was. And maybe, just maybe, that was exactly who the dragons needed him to be. The alarm started at 3 in the morning. Jake was already awake, couldn't sleep. He'd been having nightmares about what was coming. Everyone knew it was coming. The smugglers. The criminal syndicates. The traffickers who'd thrown Ember away. They'd been quiet for weeks. Too quiet. Now Jake stood at the observation window and watched their fleet arrive. 200 ships. Maybe more. Warships mixed with converted freighters bristling with illegal weapons. They surrounded Nexus 7 like a noose tightening. Station defenses powered up, but everyone knew the truth. Against this kind of firepower, Nexus 7 would last maybe 10 minutes. 12 million people lived on this station. 12 million lives about to become collateral damage. Jake's communicator buzzed. The station commander. Miller, get to the emergency shuttles. We're evacuating essential personnel. I'm not essential, Jake said. You're the Dragon Emperor. That makes you very essential. Move. Now. Jake turned off the communicator. Ember stood beside him now. Not small anymore. Over the past month she'd grown. Really grown. She was the size of a shuttlecraft, her scales gleaming like polished silver. Her wings could span the entire observation deck. She'd been practicing flying in the cargo bays. Getting stronger. Getting ready. They're here for me, Ember said. Her voice in Jake's head was clearer now. More mature. For us. We should fight. No, Jake said quietly. Why not? Ember's frustration rippled through their bond. I'm not weak anymore. I'm not helpless. I can burn their ships to ash. Vorthrax and the others would help. We could destroy this fleet in minutes. Jake put his hand on her scaled shoulder. And then what? More fleets come. Bigger ones. This becomes a war. People die. Innocent people. The station gets caught in the crossfire. Is that what you want? Ember's golden eyes dimmed. No. But I won't let them take you. Won't let them hurt you. They won't, Jake said. He didn't feel as confident as he sounded. Trust me. I have an idea. The enemy fleet's message came through every speaker on the station. A woman's voice. Cold. Professional. The same smuggler who'd cornered Jake in the lower decks a month ago. This is Commander Reeves of the Syndicate Coalition. We have one simple demand. Surrender the dragon hatchling Emberlight and the human Jake Miller. You have 30 minutes to comply. After that, we open fire. Panic spread through the station like wildfire. People ran. Screamed. Fought to get to the shuttles. Station security tried to maintain order, but it was chaos. Pure chaos. Jake watched it all and felt sick. This was his fault. His choice to save Ember had put everyone in danger. Vorthrax appeared beside him. The massive dragon had been staying close since the fleet arrived. Say the word, Drakenjar. We will erase them from existence. No, Jake said again. He was saying that a lot today. I need you to trust me. All of you. Don't attack. Don't defend. Just wait. Wait. Vorthrax's voice rumbled with confusion. Wait while they threaten millions. Please, Jake said. I need to try something first. If it doesn't work, then you can do whatever you want. But give me this chance. The dragon studied him with those ancient eyes. Finally nodded. Very well. But we will not let you die. Jake smiled. Didn't feel like smiling but did it anyway. I'm counting on it. He walked to the station's main airlock. Ember followed. So did half a dozen dragons including Vorthrax. Station security tried to stop him. He walked past them. The commander's voice screamed through the intercom. Miller, what are you doing? Get back here. Jake opened the airlock. Put on a basic EVA suit. The kind maintenance workers used. Nothing fancy. Nothing military. Just a guy in a work suit. He activated his suit's communicator and linked it to every broadcast channel he could find. Military. Civilian. Emergency. Entertainment. Even the pirate networks. If it could receive a signal, Jake made sure his message would reach it. This is Jake Miller, he said. His voice echoed across every ship in the fleet. Across the station. Across communication networks that stretched to neighboring systems. I'm coming out. Alone. Unarmed. Don't shoot the station. Don't hurt anyone. This is between us. Jake, no. Ember's voice filled his head. Desperate. Terrified. Stay here, he said out loud. Protect the station. That's an order. He stepped into the airlock. The door sealed behind him. For a moment, Jake was alone in the tiny chamber. His heart hammered. His hands shook. This was insane. This was stupid. This was probably going to get him killed. The outer door opened. Space. Infinite. Cold. Beautiful. Jake activated his suit's thrusters and pushed off toward the enemy fleet. He floated through the void. Just him and the stars and 200 warships pointing their guns at his face. Interesting, Commander Reeves' voice came through his helmet. The Dragon Emperor comes to us. How convenient. Prepare to bring him aboard. No, Jake said. We talk here. In the open. Where everyone can see. Where everyone can hear. He could feel the enemy ships powering weapons. Could sense Ember and the dragons preparing to intervene. Could hear the station holding its collective breath. I know who you are, Jake continued. His voice steady now. Stronger. I know what you do. The Syndicate Coalition. That's a fancy name for slavers. Traffickers. Kidnappers. You steal people from their homes. Steal children from their families. You judge them. Decide who's valuable. Who's worth keeping. Who's worth selling. And the ones you don't want? The ones who aren't perfect? You throw them away like garbage. Silence. Jake kept floating. Kept talking. His words transmitted across the galaxy. Ember was one of those throwaways. Too small. Too weak. Defective. So you tossed her in a trash compactor and left her to freeze to death. A baby. A child. You murdered her and didn't even think twice about it. She was merchandise, Reeves said. Her voice had an edge now. Damaged goods. Worthless. She was alive. Jake shouted. She was scared and alone and dying and you didn't care. How many others? How many other children have you discarded? How many families have you destroyed? How many lives have you stolen? He pulled up files on his suit's display. Started broadcasting them. Evidence the dragons had gathered. Names. Dates. Species. Thousands of people taken. Hundreds killed. Decades of crimes. All tied directly to the Syndicate Coalition and the empires that funded them. This ends now, Jake said. Here's your choice. Simple. Clean. You can face Dragon Justice right now. Vorthrax and his clan will end you in seconds. Turn your fleet into debris. Or you can power down your weapons, surrender to galactic authorities, and face trial. Real courts. Real justice. The dragons will make sure you get there. Make sure you can't buy your way out. Can't threaten witnesses. Can't hide behind corrupt officials. You're offering us a trial? Reeves laughed. After everything? That's your master plan. No, Jake said. I'm offering the galaxy a choice. Keep ignoring these crimes. Keep letting powerful people treat others like property. Keep throwing away anyone who doesn't fit. Or stand up. Fight back. Demand better. The dragons are willing to help. Willing to protect those who can't protect themselves. But it has to be legal. Has to be just. Because the moment we start executing people without trial, we become exactly what you are. The transmission went viral. Jake could see it happening in real time. His suit's display showed view counts skyrocketing. Billions of people across hundreds of worlds watching. Listening. Sharing. The evidence he'd broadcast was spreading everywhere. Government channels. News networks. Social media. Underground forums. Everyone could see it now. See the truth. See the names. See the crimes. Commander Reeves' voice came back. Quieter now. You're naive. Courts can be bought. Judges can be threatened. We'll walk free. Maybe, Jake admitted. Maybe some of you will. Maybe the system's too broken. But at least we tried. At least we gave justice a chance. And even if you escape? Everyone knows now. Everyone sees what you are. The Syndicate Coalition is done. Your partners will abandon you. Your customers will find new suppliers. Your empire dies today either way. Movement in the fleet. Ships powering down weapons. Some breaking formation. Crews abandoning ship in escape pods. The coalition was fracturing. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to run. A few, maybe, wanted to surrender. Then Reeves made her choice. All ships, target the human. Fire. 50 weapons discharged at once. Energy beams. Missiles. Projectiles. All aimed at Jake floating helpless in space. He closed his eyes. Thought of Ember. Hoped the dragons would take care of her. The impacts never came. Jake opened his eyes. Dragons. Hundreds of them. They'd appeared in an instant, forming a living shield around him. The weapon's fire splashed harmlessly against dragon scales. Ancient beings absorbing attacks that could crack planets. Ember was there too. Right in front of Jake. Her massive body protecting him. Her voice fierce in his mind. I told you. I won't let them hurt you. Final warning, Vorthrax's voice boomed across every channel. Surrender now. Face justice. Or face us. The fleet broke. Ships scattered in every direction. Some tried to jump to FTL. Dragons chased them down. Disabled their engines without destroying them. Others surrendered immediately. Commander Reeves' flagship tried to run. Skyfire caught it in minutes. Within an hour, the entire Syndicate Coalition was in custody. Jake floated back to the station. Exhausted. Shaking. Alive. Ember carried him gently. The airlock opened and Jake collapsed inside. Station security caught him. Medical teams rushed over. But Jake was fine. Just tired. So incredibly tired. The trials took months. Most of the coalition was convicted. Some escaped on technicalities. Some died mysteriously before testifying. The system wasn't perfect. But it worked better than Jake expected. And the dragons kept their word. They protected witnesses. Guarded evidence. Made sure justice had a fighting chance. Jake went back to cleaning floors the next week. Back to his simple life. His quiet routine. Ember stayed with him, sometimes small, sometimes large, always close. The galaxy had changed. Not completely. Not perfectly. But enough. And sometimes, Jake thought, enough was all you could ask for.